He goes, and she's even upset that I'm bringing up this girlfriend for one reason. He tells me that you feel like she was his biggest downfall. He says, but I'm going to be honest with you, and this is not going to be a message that you have to like. He says to me, Matt, he goes, I just loved her. Where are you guys from?
Texas.
Oh, good. Well, first of all, I'm glad that you're here. And first of all, when I'm connecting, did you lose a son here in this world?
Me.
He's here. He kept saying to me, I'm trying to reach my mom. I'm trying to reach my mom. Matt, talk to me. Talk to me. He's saying to me. And you know that he rushed to the front of the line to let you know that he's here? He says they were dying before this event. He goes, they would literally go and try to find like pictures of me because he's talking about like trying to go and like look through pictures. He says to me, and the first thing that your son wants you to know in spirit is, Mom, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. There's a lot that he has to talk about his passing here in this world. Did he also have a girlfriend here in this world? He's talking about the girlfriend. That's also who this message is for. And that's who he's trying to track down. So I got two different messages that are here. There's this one for the girlfriend, and I also have the messages for you as well. And he talks about the fact that his girlfriend is having such a hard time with his passing. And he says to me, Matt, he says, I got to tell you something. He said, he keeps telling me, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. That's what he's telling me. And the reason why he's coming through right now is not only to let you know that he's okay, but also to let you know that he's taking responsibility for his passing when I'm connecting with him. He says to me, Mom, I should have listened. I should have listened. He needs you to know this. He goes, I got to tell you something. He says, before I died, he says, I was having a lot of issues within my life, he tells me. And one of the issues that he was having was with anxiety. I see this anxiety and I see this fear that's happening. He says, my mother is so upset. He goes, and she's even upset that I'm bringing up this girlfriend for one reason. He tells me that you feel like she was his biggest downfall here in this world. He says, but I'm going to be honest with you, and this is not going to be a message that you have to like, but I have to tell you the truth. He says to me, Matt, he goes, I just loved her.
Yeah, he did.
He says, and even though she had problems, even though she was bad for me, he says, even though we had issues, he says, I wanted to try out this relationship and I had to learn for myself. And you're so upset about that because you kept warning him about her. You kept warning him about what was happening. He says, Matt, my mom is still so upset with her because of what had happened. He says, Matt, please tell my mom it's not her fault. It was mine. The warning signs were there. I chose, he says, to be with her. He says, and by being with her, I put myself in danger. But there's one thing that he wants to clear up, and that is that he did not turn his back on his family. Because you feel like, why did my son do this? He chose her over me. He chose her over us. And your son is saying, Mom, he goes, please let that go to rest. He says, I couldn't control what my heart felt. And by the way, I got to tell you, you weren't the only one that said that to him. There were so many people that were around him. He even tells me there were members from her own family that warned him. So you saw it, other family members have saw it, and you feel like your son was the only one that didn't see it. And because of that, you feel as though that he wouldn't have lost his life if he would have listened to you, if he would have just known. Your son says to me, you did everything that you could. But at the end of the day, he's like, Matt, he goes, Mom, I was older. I was a man. I had to make my own decision. He goes, I'm here to tell you one thing. Here in this world, I knew that this wasn't the best relationship for me. Even though everybody had warned me, he says, I had to find this out for myself. He says, I just didn't realize about what danger was because he never expected to die. So your son is here to validate to you that you can let go all the things that you're feeling. Because he tells me, Matt, my mom is so upset because she literally says, oh, he never listened. I couldn't get through to him. I couldn't get through to him. No, he heard, but he still made that choice. And that's what's so tough. Your son says to me that now that he's on the other side, his main focus is you. He says, and Mom, he goes, I don't want you to be angry anymore. You being upset with that person takes away from your relationship with your son. He says, she came in between. He goes, now that your son's on the other side, he can see things for what they clearly were. And your son says to me that the one thing that he regrets, because our loved ones do have regrets on the other side, he says, I regret ever letting this woman come between me and come between you in our relationship with one another. He says, but now that I'm on the other side, that will not happen. He says, and the only thing that can come between me and between you is about you still having anger for her. He says to me, I want you not to think about her. I want you to know that at the end of the day, the justice is that my soul is fine, that my soul is at peace, that I'm able to watch over you every single day, and to validate you that I am in heaven, because he's acknowledging that. Mm-hmm. He says, So as hard as it's been for you to live life every day, he wants to let you know, thank you for doing it for me. And thank you for doing it for his brother. And I got to tell you, I'm going to go over to his brother as well. Do you know that your brother is here? And he's literally a guardian angel watching over your life. He actually just said to me that he saved you from a car accident. Did you just get in a car accident?
I've almost been in a few.
He keeps bringing this through when I'm connecting. He says to me, pay attention. Tell him to pay attention. Tell him he needs to be careful. Because listen, I know your mother's here right now, but he tells me you're a speed demon. You like to speed, he tells me.
Yes.
And your brother's telling you, cut the shit. And he also tells me when I'm connecting that you need to check your tires. There was a check tire light on, or there's a tire light on in your car. Right now, it's happening right now. He tells me, go get your car checked. He says to me, stop playing around, he says to me. Because he goes to me, Matt, he goes, tell him that I can see everything. And he's laughing. Your brother's going to me, oh my God, Matt, I just freaked him out. He's shitting his pants back there. He doesn't know what to say. He's like, because he didn't even know if this was even going to happen or what this was. So please know that that's your brother's way of acknowledging that.
You know, years back when all this happened, I was having a hard time forgiving her. And I kept praying and praying and praying. And one day I had a dream about him. And I told him, I forgive her. I forgive her because I feel like she caused all this. But I guess I don't realize, but maybe I'm still angry at her. Or maybe I'm still holding some kind of anger. I'm still holding her accountable for this.
It's not that. You gotta understand that your loved ones use me as the last point of contact. So the last time that your son communicated with you or talked with you when you were still alive, you were mad. He left this world watching you be mad at the situation about everything that happened. So even though you forgave her years later, you're gonna know this is your son's way of coming through and letting you know that you can hear it from his mouth, that he wants you to know that everything that you've went through, that he saw, because remember, you hadn't talked to him since that moment. So your son needs to make up for all these years that you haven't been in contact with him. And if your son was physically here right now, he's here spiritually, but if he was here physically right now and he sat down with you, he'd talk about all these same things that I'm talking to you. And that's why he's using me to do that today.